Well, thanks to all of you who watched my video on the Abilene Armageddon, the end of the world in Abilene with the recent blizzard we had. 14 inches of snow, which is unheard of in West Texas, several days below freezing, even below zero several nights. And just we had a week to 8 or 10 days that was pretty tough. A lot of people lost power. Everybody in town lost water. Almost everybody in town lost water. Internet was out for a lot of people for a long time. And it reminded me of a few things that I'm going to tell you. If you're a grandparent, you may have learned these skills, and I hope you passed them on to your kids, and they're thankful if you did. And I'm going to tell parents there's some things you need to teach your kids that I was reminded of during this. And kids, if you're anybody young watching this, here you need to get somebody to teach you some things. And here they are. Number one, there's some basic life skills we need to learn. I mean, everybody assumes we're going to have power and water, but sometimes you don't. There are some basic things that I was amazed how many people ask us for advice on boiling water. How long do you boil it, and what do you do with it, and where do you store it? People that had to be told, put snow in your bathtub and use that to melt down to flush your commodes. They didn't know how a commode worked. They didn't know that's where you can get moisture and water like that. They didn't have that basic life skill. I didn't ever realize how important it'd be someday to me, but I'm glad I learned the life skill when I was young, how to cut and split firewood and stack it and get it in and out of a house and build a fire. I learned that as a young man at my grandparents' farm, and my wife's pretty appreciative that I'm one of those guys that's always kept wood around, and we had burned a lot of it this week. Cooking's a basic life skill, and I want to be real honest. I'm not the one that cooks at our house, and I wasn't going to grill out. But I did debate whether I needed to put a fire in an outside fire pit and grill on it. But my wife can cook. As long as she's got ingredients, I don't mean prepackaged stuff. I mean she can take stuff and use basic ingredients and cook, and she can do it over a fireplace fire. And that's a life skill that we don't much think we need anymore, but I'm glad she's got it. So I'm just reminded that we need some basic life skills sometimes about how to do a vehicle in cold weather, how to take care of animals in a blizzard, how to cook and how to do fires and all those kind of basic things. So be sure you get some basic life skills. Other thing I was reminded of is how much I appreciate good neighbors. We had a lot of people call on us and see what we needed. And we ended up not needing anything, but it was sure nice to have people calling us. And we called a lot of people to see what they needed, and we did some things for some people, but mostly we just shared life with each other. Are you okay? And how you doing? And what do you need? And let me check on, and can I help you with this? And you need to know your neighbors. So if you're living somewhere where you don't know your neighbors, you start doing that. Now, I need to tell you, in all honesty, 2/3 of our neighborhood are probably Christian believers, and so they're much more prone to know each other and check on each other. And probably 2/3 of those go to Hillcrest over here near our neighborhood, and so we knew a lot of people from church, and that was good. But you need to know your neighbors. And number three, don't take things for granted. We're so used to flipping on the power switch, and here comes lights. And even things like internet. I was astounded. I couldn't check on my sports because we had no television or internet for a couple of days. And man, I didn't know anything that was going on, and I couldn't find anything, and I couldn't do any work. And boy, it was just a different kind of thing. And even water. And it reminded me to really appreciate that when I've got it. It also reminded me there are people in our world who do not have that. And most of all, I was thankful to God for getting us through it safely, for taking care of us, providing for our needs. And I don't want to take God for granted. It's tough enough when I take things like power and water for granted, but I don't ever want to take God for granted either. So this is Steve Ridgell telling you, I learned some things from Snowmaggedon, and I hope you got some basic life skills. Learn your neighbors, learn some life skills, and appreciate what you've got, and especially be thankful for the God who takes care of us.